Imagine this. You naturally wake up on a sunny spring weekend morning. The sunlight is peeking through your curtains and you hear the gentle chirping of birds outside. You roll over and complete a full body stretch. It's the subtle sign that it signals to your entire body that it's time to start the day. Instinctively, you roll over and grab your phone simply to check the time. But you are bombarded with information. The alarming news notifications with the latest happenings around the world, the messages from your close friend who is struggling and needs your support, and the other messages from productivity apps on your phone reminding you that once again you neglected several tasks during the week. And just like that, your muscles tense, your eyes widen, and your breath shortens. Your nervous system has just gone from relaxation to panic and stress. This, my friends, is what happens when your nervous system gets hijacked, and it's a common occurrence. Now, you probably think this is the point in the video where I'm going to tell you you shouldn't look at your phone the first thing in the morning. And I mean, you shouldn't, but I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. What I am here to do is to give you practical tools and ways to help regulate your nervous system in times of stress. Kind of like all the fuckery that we're seeing that's happening in the world right now. And we all need help to help us keep calm. And I'm here to give it to you. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Keisha Courtney. I'm an advanced therapeutic yoga practitioner, death doula, and a yoga therapist in training. On this channel, we're going to talk about the intersection of science and spirituality. So some videos, we're going to talk about movement, alignment, and anatomy, and how to feel better in your body. Other times, we'll talk about deep spiritual practices. And then we're going to talk about death and dying too, because I'm a death doula, and it's a very real part of life and something that we're going to experience. The connection of all of these experiences is our breath. When we're born, we take our first breath and life begins. And then that breath helps us regulate our nervous system throughout our life. And then at the end of the life, we take our last breath and life concludes, at least in this realm. So the tools that I'm going to give you are going to help you process and be in the world. Today, I want to talk to you about the nervous system. What even is the nervous system? Well, it's a complex network of cells and nerves that carry messages from the brain and spinal cord to the rest of the body, telling us how to respond. Every thought, movement, and sensation that we have passes through the nervous system. Its main job is to keep our internal environment responsive. The nervous system can be broken down into many parts. The first category is the CNS, which is the central nervous system, and then the PNS, which is the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system consists of the brain and spinal cord. So think of this as the control center. It takes in information and it's constantly processing it and sending messages to the rest of the body telling us how to respond. That's either with movement or panic, or sometimes it's even telling us to freeze. The PNS is the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system connects the CNS to the rest of the body through various nerves. The PNS is further divided into the somatic nervous system, which controls our voluntary musculoskeletal movements, and then our autonomic nervous system, which is our involuntary movements, like our heart rate. The autonomic nervous system can be broken down even further, and this is the category that we're most addressing when we speak in yoga. So that's the sympathetic nervous system, which is our fight or flight response, and then our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest state. So let's go back to that moment in the morning when you looked at your phone. You woke up, you reached for it, and you saw all of those notifications. Before you even could think about it consciously, your body is already processing that information. Your brain perceives even a small level of stress or urgency, and it activates your sympathetic nervous system, your flight or fight response. And that happens really fast. Your heart rate may increase, your breath may become shallow, and your body might even tense slightly. Your thoughts start moving more quickly, and this can all happen within seconds, often before you're even aware of it. In a regulated nervous system, once your body realizes what you're actually taking in isn't a real threat, the parasympathetic nervous system can kick in and tell you that this isn't quite an emergency. So our breath can slow and our body softens. So we're able to come back to that regulated state. Here's the thing. Your nervous system is not great at determining what is an actual threat and what is a minor disturbance. So it's not the intensity of the reaction, it's how long you stay in that activated state and whether you're able to bring yourself out of it. Now, in times like we're in today, there's constantly things that are happening that are drawing in our attention. So when we stay in a heightened state, it's actually not healthy for our bodies. And it can start to manifest in different ways, which can be chronic stress, chronic pain, and other diseases that may develop. Your body could also react in different ways to telling you that it's not okay, maybe with hives or digestion issues and so on. Now that we've talked all about the nervous system, I want to give you a practice that can help you regulate your nervous system when you're just in an activated state and you're having trouble calming down. All right, so this practice for the nervous system is very somatic, which means there's not going to be a lot of heavy movements, but the point is to bring us into that parasympathetic state. So all you'll need is your mat, or if you don't have a mat, you can just sit on the ground. So you're gonna come to any comfortable seated position, and if the ground is uncomfortable for you, you can sit on a block, a cushion, a pillow. You'll know if you need to sit on something if you find yourself doming and rounding sitting on the floor. We really want the spine to be nice and long so that the air can flow freely through our lungs as we do this practice. So once you get to your position, you'll bring your hands onto your thighs and you'll close your eyes. Taking in a deep inhale through the nose. Gently let it through the mouth. Let it go. Inhaling through the nose. Gentle exhale through the mouth, letting it go. Last one here. Now close your mouth and just start to notice how your breath feels in your body right now. You don't need to change your breath, just breathe regularly. As you inhale, notice your body filling up with air. And as you exhale, notice the body softening. Continue to breathe, filling up the lungs fully. Exhaling through the nose to let it go. Do that a few more times. And as you're breathing, notice if you can soften your shoulders. So taking the shoulders out of your ears. If you notice that the belly is a little restricted as you breathe, can you soften the abdominal muscles? And if your pelvic floor is tense and tight, can you release the pelvic floor? Good. From here, we're going to start with some shoulder circles. So you'll inhale, the shoulders will come up into your ears. Exhale, shoulder blades fall down the back. Do that again, nice and slow. Inhale to lift and exhale to soften. Last one, inhale to lift. And as you exhale to soften, notice what it feels like when your shoulder blades are out of your ears. And start to move your head side to side. These don't need to be big movements, just nice and gentle. Getting the traps to relax. And again, really taking notice of the shoulders out of the ears, what that feels like versus this restricted state. Last breath here. And then you'll open your eyes if they're closed. We'll take a few resetting breaths together. So this breath is 2 inhales and then an exhale. It sounds like this. join with me. 2 more. Last one. Nice big inhale. And exhale through the nose to let it go. Good. And from here, we're going to make our way onto our back. I'm just feeling our body on the floor to begin. We'll take the legs long and the arms are going to stretch above the head. Just feeling the body nice and long. So unlike the tension that we feel when we're sitting at a desk, and start to flex and point the feet. And even take the wrist along with that, flexing the wrist in both directions. Good. And then you'll bring your arms down by your sides. You'll bend your knees. Your feet are going to go mat distance apart and your knees are going to knock in towards each other. From here, you're going to take your arms into goalpost above your head. You'll stay here for the inhale. And on the exhale, drop your knees to the left and gently look to the right. Opening through the shoulder blades and hip flexors here. On the inhale, you'll lift the knees back to center, head comes back to neutral. Exhale, you'll drop the knees to the right and you'll look to the left. Now keep doing this movement on your own. Again, these are somatic, so you're not using muscular engagement to move. I like to think of them as lazy movements. So we're not forcing, we're not lifting our head, we're not lifting our feet. We're just moving like, think of like water, like the ocean waves. There's no start and stop, it's all continuous. Do that a few more times on each side. Again, the inhale will take your head back to neutral, the knees to the sky, and on the exhale, you'll come into that gentle twist. And when you get back to the center, you will pause here. Just feeling the effects of the practice so far. From here, we're going to roll onto our right side. Your right arm's going to be long, and your head can either rest on your arm or somewhere else. You'll bring your knees into the chest. Now from here, your left hand is going to go over your head, and it's going to wrap by the right ear gently. Now, as we do this move, you're going to keep the knees together and separate the feet and lift the head. So this will be the inhale, nice and gentle, and then exhale, lower that back down. Let's do that a few more times. Inhale to lift, and exhale to lower. So in this pose, it's opening up our side waist, getting those areas of tension to just calm. And again, still somatic. Good. Let's do one more here. Good. And then you'll take that left hand and just place it in front of your body, still laying on the right arm. Now, the next movement we'll do here is to keep the feet together and separate the knees. So as we inhale, we open, and exhale to close. This is opening our inner thighs and maybe even hips, still with the side waist as well. Nice and gentle. These are not like clamshells that we do in exercise class. It's somatic, so keep it nice and gentle. Let's do two more. And last one. And just pause and breathe here, noticing the effects of that movement thus far. And from here, you can just roll over to the other side, and we'll do it all again on the other side. You don't need to flip around like I did. You could just turn over. Just want to make sure that I'm facing the camera for you. So you're now laying on your left arm. Your right arm's going to go above your head and wrap around to touch maybe the left ear. The knees come into the chest and they're stacked. Now from here, again, you're going to keep the knees together, the feet will part. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Again, not making this lift too high to where you're feeling your muscles like really activate or cramp and tighten. You can even lift just this little bit. Let's do one more here. Remove that hand from above your head and place it in front of you. Keeping the feet together, the knees separate this time. So inhale to open and exhale to close. I even notice as I'm doing this practice that my nervous system is starting to calm. So I'm coming into that parasympathetic state. And I hope you are feeling the same. If your eyes close throughout this whole practice, that is perfectly fine. In fact, it's better. It tells you that your body's relaxing. Let's do one more. Good, and pause, relaxing all of the muscles and just feeling the effects of that thus far. Good. From here, you're just going to roll onto the back. And again, your knees are going to be bent, but this time they're going to be just hip distance apart. As we go into this practice, I want to emphasize that these are not abdominal work. This is not abdominal work that we're doing. It's very somatic. So your hands are going to go behind your head. And first we're going to just start with pelvic movements. So on the inhale, you're going to drive your tailbone into the ground and you might feel the low back or that natural curve in your spine lift a little bit more. And then on the exhale, you're going to drive that part back into the ground. So you're flattening it. Again, the feet are not lifting. You're not lifting the hips, but you're rolling the pelvis, or the sacrum rather, forward and back. Inhale to feel that lift. Exhale to close off that space. These movements are really good. If you have any low back pain, I recommend you can do these in the morning or anytime you're feeling that pain. Good. Go ahead and do one more. Okay, now this is the not ab part that I was telling you about. So the pelvic movements are going to stay the same, but we're going to add in our elbows. So on the inhale, lifting that low back, the elbows stay wide. And on the exhale, you close off that low back space, you bring the elbows together and gently lift your head. So you're not lifting so much that you start to feel your abs work. Inhale, open the elbows, tilt the pelvis. Exhale, elbows towards each other, gently lift the head. Good. Let's do 3 more. Again, if you feel your abs activate, you're working way too hard. That's for another class. Good. And then release the hands from your head and just bring them by the sides. And you'll take the legs nice and long. Together, let's take a breath in through the nose, out through the nose, let it go. And these will be the last somatic movements we do for this sequence today. So before we move, take your attention to your right leg. Feel where your right leg is in space. Don't move it just yet, just feel it. Okay, on your next inhale, you're going to turn your knee out to the side. The arch of the foot might come onto the calf, the knee, or the inner thigh, and you're gently going to turn your head to the left. On the exhale, take the head back to neutral, straighten out the leg. On the next inhale, bend the right knee, bring the foot onto the ground. Gently drop the right knee towards the left, so it's not a spinal twist, it's just a drop, and then take your head to the right. And then take it back to center and straighten it out. We're gonna do that 3 more times on just the right leg. So again, the right knee turns out, you look to the left. Exhale, straighten it out. Inhale, bend the knee, the right foot comes onto the ground. The knee drops to the left, you look to the right. Two more of those on your own. Just letting the leg drag forward and back. You're not using muscular engagement again. I know I've said it so many times, but we like to work hard. So I want to remind you, don't work hard right now. Just allow your body to feel and come into that parasympathetic state. Last one. And when you're finished, just let your body be still in this corpse pose position. Let's take a nice gentle inhale through the nose. Gentle exhale through the nose. Okay, take your attention to your left leg. Don't move it yet, just take your attention there. And we'll do it all again on the left side. So the left knee turns out to the left. You look to the right. On the exhale, straighten everything back out to neutral. Staying with the left leg, bend the knee, the foot comes onto the ground. Gently drop it to the right as you look to the left. Three more of those with the left leg. Just letting the leg drag up and down. Making sure you finish each movement before you're jumping to the next one. Okay, I believe this is the last one. And if I miscounted, just go ahead and do one more by yourself. When you're done, feeling the effects of those movements on the body. And you'll pause here, staying in Shavasana for a couple of breaths. course, you can stay here as long as you need. If you're really feeling the effects of that practice and the relaxation, I encourage you to stay here and let your body soak it in. Then start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You'll roll over to one side and push yourself gently up into a seated position. There's just one last thing that I'm going to give you, and this is a mudra. If you are unfamiliar, mudras can direct energy to different parts of the body, and the one we're going to do right now is a grounding mudra. So it's called Bu Mudra. You're going to take your fingers into peace fingers. You're in a seated position, and then your fingertips are going to gently touch the ground. You're going to ground down through your sit bones, gently engage the low belly, and lift the crown of the head up towards the sky. Again, after we did all that work to regulate the nervous system, we're just driving the point home with this mudra that we are grounded, that we are safe. And that when our nervous system is overactivated, we can always use this mudra or this practice to bring us back to that regulated state. Take a few more breaths here. Really feel the parts of your body that are touching the ground. So the sit bones, the glutes, your thighs and your feet, and those fingertips that are gently touching the ground here. And gently opening your eyes and bringing your hands to Anjali Mudra, heart center. Together we'll take one breath together, our final breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, let it go. I want to thank you so much for letting me guide you through your practice today. But most importantly, thank yourselves for coming to your mats to practice yoga for better mind, body, and spiritual health. We bow forward in gratitude. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.